the shouter around the world was the start of the revolution.
Oh, damn you! God damn you all to hell!
Who was right? Who gets into heaven?
I'm afraid it was the Mormons. Yes, the Mormons were the correct answer.
There's a war brewing in this territory. Brigham Young trying to make his kingdom. You got the Wasatch Mountain Range. Grizzlies, wolves, riled up Mormons.
Someday,
this entire American continent will be ours.
my fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day.
We should also be cautious about the motivation of the one who provides information. That's why the scriptures warn us against priestcraft.
Some time ago, I was speaking to a meeting of church leaders in a country outside of North America. As I spoke about tithing, I found myself saying something I had not intended to say. I told them the Lord was grieved that only a small fraction of the members in their nations relied on the Lord's promises and paid a full tithing. I warned that the Lord would withhold material and spiritual blessings when his covenant children were not keeping this vital commandment. I hope those leaders taught that principle to the members of the stakes and districts in their countries. The law of tithing and the promise of blessings to those who live it apply to the people of the Lord in every nation. I hope our members will qualify for the blessings of the Lord by paying a full tithing. We pay tithing, as the Savior taught, by bringing the tithes into the storehouse. We do this by paying our tithing to our bishop or branch president. We do not pay tithing by contributing to our favorite charities. The contributions we should make to charities come from our own funds, not from the tithes we are commanded to pay to the storehouse of the Lord.
There are critics who say this sounds an awful lot like an investment bank and they're not paying taxes.
It's not an investment bank, it's the church's treasury.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and its investment arm will pay a fine totaling $5 million for failing to disclose investment holdings. The Securities and Exchange Commission announced the settlement today. Fox 13 News investigative reporter Nate Carlisle has been following the investigation into church finances.
These charges from the SEC accuse the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and its leaders of spending years hiding investments from the public. That includes stocks purchased with tithing.
It's difficult to defend the church's conduct here, that they are not above the eyes of the law.
Jeff Schwartz teaches securities law at the University of Utah. He can't find another example of investors hiding portfolios for 20 plus years.
And it's also important for the general public to understand who owns America's largest companies, who are the biggest shareholders behind Apple, AT&T, Microsoft.
The SEC says the obfuscation began in 1997 when the church created Ensign Peak Advisors to manage $7 billion.
The mandate given by the First Presidency and the presiding bishopric is to only focus on financial growth. EPA employees are told that the money will be used after the second coming of Jesus Christ or during Armageddon right before he would come again.
For the first time, we have an idea now of how much the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints big investment fund performed over the course of a year.
That fund is called Ensign Peak Advisors, and Fox 13 News investigative reporter Nate Carlisle found the public document showing how many billions of dollars it gained in 2020.
Over the last year, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has been more forthcoming about how it's investing tithing money. This latest filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission shows that despite the economic downturn of the pandemic, the church's big investment fund made money. This filing with the SEC shows the holdings of Ensign Peak Advisors at the end of 2020. When added all up, it shows the fund gained more than $6 billion in one of the most difficult financial years in American history.
America is burning. Travis Wayne Goodsell. Yep, I take checks. No, I don't. Cash only. Or direct deposit. In July 2017, I did a video that was so damaging to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints that they had ordered the Mormon YouTube employee to shut me down ever since. How dare you expose us? I was just doing what my education told me to do from Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon. That's what they said. They're true, right? They're true. Why are you punishing me for saying the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith are true? I don't understand. I don't understand. Yeah, that video was forced upon me because the wife at the time demanded I give her the day and the hour of when we're walking back to what we thought at the time, because that's what the church has always been telling us, Independence, Missouri, for Zion. I had not yet found 19 July 1840. Take that into consideration. And so in that video, I reveal I have the keys of the man like Moses. I am a seer. I am the prophet, the seer, the prophet, the revelator, the translator of Paleo-Hebrew and Egyptian. So that all Mormons can judge me. And 40,000 have seen the video. And where are they now? They're not even apologizing. I'm so sorry. I'll shine your shoes for a week. They're tennis shoes. They don't need shining. That's okay. Oh my God, Mormons. You fell for the con. You fell for the con. The world will not know of it. The members of the church at large will not know of it. The world cannot know of it. The saints cannot know of it. And yesterday it began. There will be a transfer of government authority from the usurper and impostor Lucifer to the rightful King Jesus. Gathering at Adam-on-Diamond by Voice of the Priesthood, page 291. Joseph Fielding Smith, Sr. I am here in this apartment because I found it and leaked it. Shh! Don't tell anybody I leaked this. This was in 2021 when I leaked this one, right after a conference that October. And so, after last year's October conference, this one's not my fault. You blame the Mormon who did the channel, who covered the video, who got it from another Mormon who does a channel, covered it in a video, who got it from Sister Jessica, who got it from her mission president, who got it to Kevin Bacon. Dallin H. Oaks, March 14th, 2020. That's a running Mormon joke. I don't know if the 7 things for Kevin Bacon is anywhere else in the world. I think it's just a Mormon thing because he did it here in Utah. Let's hear it for the Mormons, because Mormons deny and forbid dancing. Mormon dances were such a traumatic nightmare for me as a teen boy. Neuronic priesthood altar. Anyway, before I go down memory lane and forget where I am. Dallin H. Oaks, March 14th, 2020. 2020. March 14th. Only the stock market was beginning to fall. Oh, dear God. Oh, Mormons. So he was talking to new mission presidents, thus the mission president, Las Vegas, Nevada on that Saturday, and did in chiasmus the following words by the naughty mission president who recorded Oaks. Don't record me! People might find out! If you're gonna be a criminal, don't leave a trail. Not of documents, nor of money, nor recordings. Worst criminals ever. This is not the end of the world, but merely a test. A trial run for the second coming. End of the world, second coming. Because in Mormonism, the second coming has been turned into Jesus burning people and cooing the government. Mormons don't want to say it that way. The glory of the Lord is so bright, only the wicked get burned. Jesus will come and take over the kingdom. How? Aren't there other nations on earth? Yep, Jesus will take over the kingdom. But how? Right there. There will be a transfer of government authority. You just witnessed it yesterday and into today. The church has robbed all nations of the earth, and the dogs are singing the praises. They're all about to get locked up. Oh no, not for the long weekend. Liberation Day long weekend. Where everybody's going to get locked up. Oh dear God. So yes, Oaks, this is their plot. I have been doing the videos forever. Ever. These whole latter days. Yes, latter days are over. We're in the millennium now. We're carrying over as the enemy is making their move. They have robbed not only God, they have robbed every single nation around the world. Oh dear googly moogly. This was the biggest heist in world history. And the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints are the bandits. They, and they alone, are the major stockholder of all world stock markets. They stole the money. We are talking at least $4 trillion thanks to the previous theft of the church when Trump first issued the tariffs. So 1,000 is a trillion, or 1,000 is 4 trillion, something like that. Oh dear God. So this was 6 trillion in America opening the gates this morning. The gates of hell hath opened, and the church stole $6 trillion to start it off with. So yeah, we'll see the damage when all is said and done at 2 o'clock here, Utah time. Oh my hell, this was a massive heist. And they came as a thief in the night, fulfilling scriptural prophecy of the enemy tears that they themselves quote to Mormons. They stole Joseph Smith's religion. That's why this bank robber picture that I've been using since I found it and used it is awesome. It's It's got the keys, because in the church, it's priesthood keys. They don't have them. They stole them. And thus the bag of money through tithing and stock market and other business interests, in which are investments and not charity. They don't do any charity. Any charity that they take credit for, yeah, they ordered other Mormons to give the money or the time or the goods. And then the church takes credit for it. They don't spend a single penny, which has now been banned by Trump, I guess. So a single nickel. Oh, this was a huge heist. And not a single person in the world knows that it was the church that did it. They should. It's been covered in the news, and I'll be putting in the clips. But it always ends up being me that always reveals the super sacred secret that's not supposed to be revealed. Nobody is supposed to know this. People might demand that the church give it back. Or pay them because they're poor and fired now. There will be mass firings from this. Because this is only the stock market stuff. Then the businesses with the stocks are going to say, well, wow, we lost a whole lot of money. We're going to have to lay off people and produce cheap products and raise the prices for them. And so, yeah, that's going to now tank the economy in the coming days. As we got the weekend, but then next week, yeah, we definitely will be seeing the economic collapse all around the world. This is massive. This is damaging. And we'll see the world suffer first because Trump did it at 4 p.m. yesterday after the stock market crashed. Or went up, the stock market closed. But then began the crash around the world. Starting in the Pacific and then going around. I don't know how many different stock markets there are for the church to be raking in somewhere around 6 trillion each. We should find out. 6 trillion times 53. Oh dear God. Just massive heist. Ocean's 11 ain't got nothing on this church. How many stock markets are there? List of major stock exchanges. 21 in the world. 21 times 6. Dear God. Dear God. Great. Cyber terrorizing me. Travis! Shh. Shh. Don't tell. $126 trillion. And granted, there's some that are not a trillion, but still, dear God, this was damaging. This was a major blow that they were involved in. They robbed the world blind here. And this is what they've been planning to do. I've been warning you. I've been doing the church history. I've been doing the whole plot. Albert Pike even, he told you guys this was coming. Here it is. It's the church. The doctrine of Lucifer brought out in full display. It's the church. I mean, didn't the keystone symbol of Lucifer ring any bells for anybody? I know the born-again Christians, when I was a little kid in Southern California, knew. I wasn't being told. Mommy, what's that star on the keystone of the temple? Shut up. Don't look at it. It's of the devil. Doesn't it mean that the doctrines of Lucifer are taught within the building? Yep. Oh, this was a massive scam. They used Trump, because that's also what's a part of this. Oakes is confessing to be in charge of Trump, telling him what to do. The church did it, and they profited off of it. And Trump is going along with it because he's profiting off of this. Everybody's bribing Trump. He's raking in the dough as president. And so, yeah, all of the debts that he incurred, he got it all back. And so, yeah, this is just damaging. Our nation has crumbled to pieces. America has fallen. We're all doomed. We're all going to die. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will reboot Kingdom of Deseret 2.0 in the valley here. And then spread worldwide because they own the land all over the world. This was their big plan. Ever since the secret combination Articles of Incorporation by Heber J. Grant in 1923. Yep, we're using Mormons to fund our criminal operation so that we now pay and invest to cause this plot in the latter days. Whereas Brigham Young was more of the bully, you know, build up an army of Mormons to go up against the United States. And they lost under John Taylor, who died in prison. And that explains why it took 3 years for Wilford Woodruff to then fill it in, as he just, you know, said, well, I guess I'll take over. We'll just pretend that we never fell and the United States didn't dissolve us. I'll come out with an official declaration. That'll convince Mormons. And I'll say that we will never lead Mormons astray. Ever. And so I find it just sick and wrong. Sick and wrong. Couldn't you come up with another percentage, Trump? I mean, 25% would have been perfectly fine. You were talking about 25%. Instead, he does a tithe. 10% for every nation. That's the church. You dumbass. Don't leak it. This is a secret. Nobody's supposed to know it's the church. You're taking the fall, not the church. 60 different countries. 60. Dear God. All at 10%. This is just going to be devastating. The fall has happened. And so, yes, not just transfer of government authority, which Trump has done by saying, hey, the federal government, we're shutting it all down. Every single state will run their own state. Which, yeah, Utah is run and operated by the church. So they get their kingdom back. But the church is robbing everybody in the process. Just full of greed. They just hoard it and hoard it and hoard it. They do not give charity. It's all about stealing money. They've been doing that since they pretended to be Mormon under Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith knew of this group existing, but they were a secret combination. And they kept framing and blaming him to get him locked up. And so even ex-fo Nevermos to this day still blame Joseph because this church says, yeah, he was an adulterer, he was a polygamist, he was a child rapist. Yep, sure, okay. Yeah, Jesus told him to do it. So religious freedom, you can't judge us. Oh dear God, and nobody bothers to do the research. Nobody bothers to check for forged documents. You have Mark Hoffman, who just humiliated this church. And if the dumbass wouldn't be blowing people up and then himself, he would have been considered a patriot. But instead he's in prison, rotting in hell. As the church gets away with things. Dear God. And so, yeah, this was devastating. The Dow futures last night dropped 1,000 points. all of the nations, all the other stock markets dropped 1,000. Let's find those news clippings. Oh, that's Diego Garcia. It's gonna be talked about here, some at the end here. Apparently we're gonna attack the islands in the Pacific, or in the Philippines, or India, maybe East Africa. Yeah, Dow futures tumble 1,000 points. Stock markets around the world tumble. I tumble for you, I tumble for you, I tumble for you, I tumble for you. So yeah, Liberation Day. No, not at all. It's D-Day, Doomsday. Black Earth Wednesday and Thursday. Just devastating. So I warned you, been warning you the whole time, because the solar eclipse that happened in 2021 or 2017, 21st of August, I knew that meant the fall of America. My education, my experience, my degrees, my publications, I am the foremost anthropologist of the ancient Middle East. I know exactly what I meant. And so when I began doing church history research, I just used that same scientific research knowledge to run the tests for church history, purge all of the Danite lies and forged documents, find the actual evidence, assemble them together, look for patterns, find anomalies, develop a theory, run the test, get 3 confirmations to establish facts. Real simple, it's in the Bible. How to judge a false prophet with the science of agronomy. Real simple stuff. Nobody does it. We're not even taught in America. I had to flee the country to go get edumacated at the 51st state of America, Alberta, in Lethbridge, to learn how to do it. And before I forget, Trump sent me a personal letter, said, "Hey Travis, just wanted you to know in case you missed it." Nope, didn't miss it. I was right there in the front row. Saw the whole thing. So let's make a separate file for this. I hope I'm not freezing the camera again. 2025 4/2 Liberation Day Executive Order. Oh, dear God. Googly muggly. So, yep, it is official. And so, yeah, we there yet? No, we're not there yet. We're still on this side. So some other news. Another Mormon who was a judge, Judge Kendall, is now no longer a judge. He's being accused of sexually abusing children. You know, what the Danites did and framed and blamed Joseph for. The building of the prison for Americans has yet again begun, now in California. They're locking us up. Seriously? You're going to convince us that we're kicking out people from America and we're building a wall to keep them out, and yet we're the ones in. He's locking us up. We are the prisoners. Dear God. I mean, yeah, I guess he didn't want to do the Walmart thing. Mormons would, or Americans would be furious. Hey, I'm not staying in a Walmart. It's backwards for martial law. Okay, fine. You can stay in your home, but you can't leave America. Just like in Texas. Oh, you're pregnant and you want an abortion because you were raped. You ain't leaving. We're going to lock you up and make sure you have that rape baby. Dear God. And so, some of the things that were on the hit list, at least for Canada, is lumber, autos, pharmaceuticals. Those are the major three. And the auto parts I was hearing also was involved. This is going to lead to mass firings. This is the economy collapse that I was talking about. Businesses who get tanked in the stock market are going to have to lay people off. They're not going to be able to survive. They're going to be forced to raise their prices. And if they're a mom and pop store, yeah, sayonara. There ain't no way they're going to be able to survive. They'll be forced to raise their prices, but they don't get the customers in the first place. And with everybody losing their job, not getting paid, they're not going to come in and shop in the stores anyway. And so then you're going to have reciprocal firings and laying offs and store closures and bankruptcies. It's going to be devastating what's about to happen. And yeah, this is not a transition to making America rich again. It's make the Church of Jesus Christ rich again. That's what it's all about. They're the ones who profited off of this, just like they did in 2020, which was February 20th to April 7th, 2020, which, do I dare go online again to find the date, or do I have I do have the date on my computer and the Hebrew calendars. Let's see, 2014, 15, 17. Yeah, I just did this video for my 11 years of the Latter Days calendars. I still have to do 2018, when Monson died under Revelation chapter 12, verse 4. Alright, and so was it just after conference? Yeah, conference was on April 1st and 2nd. And so, yeah, by the end of Friday of that week after conference, they stopped raking it in. They ran the test, and boom, again, this year. Stock market collapses before conference. Oaks put in the call. Do not do it on the Illuminati anniversary on May 1st. Do it on April 1st. And Trump said, no, I'm superstitious. I'm doing it on the 2nd. All right, fine. It's still before conference. Oh, dear God. Just devastating. And nobody's supposed to know. It's a secret. Shh, don't tell. Don't tell. And so the Axis powers are being revealed. I mean, allies. China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and the United States of America. Though they don't really want America in, they know that Trump is crashing America to the ground and burning it. That's what Trump has always done with his businesses. They were never a legitimate business. They were always for laundering money for criminal operations. And so that's why his casino failed. Nobody tanks a casino. But Trump did it. And it's because he was laundering money for gangs and terrorists and criminals all around the world. That's what he does. That's how he makes his money, because he takes some on the side. And so even though the business fails, he still takes in the money. And so this is what he's doing for America. He's taking in money for himself and for others who are helping his agenda to destroy the federal government, hand it over to the states, I mean the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and tanking the economy so that the federal government is no longer involved in funding operations, and people get fired, and all federal agencies in every state are shut down, and so the states have to fend for themselves. And no state was prepared. Nobody knew that this was coming, even though they knew this was coming. Trump said it was coming. Project 2025 said it's coming. Everybody knew, and nobody prepared. Except for the church, who, shh, it's a secret, don't tell anybody. Oh, dear God. And so, yeah, there's 6 B-2 bombers in that Diago base island. The U.S. and the U.K. are planning for something coming up. Let's see, 5 Virgin statue. I did that separately last night. Because, yeah, I'm catching on to these clues. I mean, Oaks, after Nelson came out in October conference last year, saying Jesus is coming in the coming day, and I mocked him because Saturday came and went. No Jesus. You should have said days, not day, again. He's been teasing Mormons all these latter days. In the coming day, in the coming days, in the coming day, in the coming days. Spacing them out for certain key events that took place. And nobody was catching on except for me. Shh, don't tell. It's a secret. Nobody's supposed to know. So after Nelson did it again, as I knew the latter days were over, that we're winding it down, and he says it again. Okay. They try to divert your attention away by saying, oh, the temple won't be finished for another 2 more years, but we're having a big open house that whole summer. Whatever. It's the diversionary tactic that Trump is using to scare Democrats that he's going to run for a 3rd term. Are you not catching what's going on now? We aren't even going to have a country. Oh my God, a bunch of suckers and losers who just don't get it, and yet they cover it in the news. So, on December 8th last year, after conference in October, Oaks gives the First Presidency Christmas devotional talk. And in the talk, he talks about Christmas and how it leads to Easter. And he made his little comment in which Nelson told us in conference that every day we're getting closer to the second coming of Jesus. I put the clips in for you. All that time, mocking and laughing, warning, they're going to do it, they're the enemy, Mormons don't believe, they're in denial, And now they're in shock and they're ashamed. Oh, Travis was right this whole time. Oh, crap. Well, I'm not going to admit it. I'm going to stay away from his videos from now on. I promise not to watch any more of them. I'll show him. Because it gets worse. Because the second coming means mass murder and coup of governments. Guess what's coming? And so January 2nd, Oaks puts a Facebook post up after the terror attack by Islamic State that the church funds under the guise of charity. In New Orleans. And comes out the next day on January 2nd and says, look forward to Christmas or Easter. Resurrection from the dead. He is threatening Mormons to murder them. And Mormons are all foolish virgins. And so the 16th of February, he comes out with a video this time. Reveals he has tardive dyskinesia for psycho drugs. And he again threatens Mormons to death with the resurrection for Easter. And said the resurrection is wrong by all other Christians. He didn't bring up the Jewish authors. And then says, resurrection is literal. You will literally die. Don't fear the reaper. Then March 18th. He just keeps going. Month after month after month. He comes out with the first presidency Easter message. And we know it's him because Nelson's on his deathbed. He's out of it. He's near death. And so Oaks and Irene are the first presidency here. And I went over how the signs in the heavens are in the likeness of things on the earth. Joseph Smith translation, Revelation chapter 12, verse 1. Joseph knows what he's talking about, and so sure enough. Death threat. We're going to murder you. And the big thing that he purposely left out of John chapter 10 verse 10, that he quoted the last half of the sentence, was just, oh my God, is terrifyingly hilarious, is because he's talking about thieves at the beginning here. He that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up by some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. And so in verse 8, all that ever came before me are thieves and robbers. There's a footnote to a Joseph Smith translation of that passage in which he says, those who testify not of the Christ are thieves. So antichrists are the thieves. So he then quotes the last half of John chapter 10 verse 10, where he says, I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. But he skips the first part. The thief, Antichrist, cometh not, but for to steal, murder, and destroy. Ta-da! In real time, right now, This is what they're doing. They're denying the Jewish Christ. They have stolen the world's money from the stock markets. They are murdering people in the process and destroying the federal government and the all nations' governments. And your lives, they are responsible. And he put this in, but he didn't say it. He said the last half. And he also used Nelson's misinterpretation of take upon yourself Jesus' yoke to say yoke yourself to Jesus. Bind yourself to Jesus. And for that, he then justified the temple death penalty covenant oaths of Lucifer, lest you forget the inverted pentagrams on the keystone of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple, to take away agency of Mormons, to enslave them and bind them to Jesus. That's what he's referring to. And so I have gone over with you the clips from the temple text of obey your husband, obey the church leaders, sacrifice yourself even unto death to protect the church from criminal prosecution. Don't criticize the church leaders. Child bride polygamy must be obeyed. And nobody's doing that apparently. That's why they're going to burn the Mormons for their disobedience. And be a slave to the kingdom. Everything you get, everything you have, everything you own is not yours. It belongs to the church. They will give you a subsistence to live, to continue to be a slave for the rest of your life. While all the women go to the leaders. In case the women think that would be awesome, yet no, you're a breeder, constantly pregnant for the rest of your life until you can't bear no more. No education, no career, no mission. You are to be barefoot, pregnant, and at home with the harem. And Mormons don't seem to understand that kind of lifestyle. They're foolish virgins on that part. And so then yesterday, on the day of liberation, Oaks made sure to have the statue on Temple Square put up just before conference as well of the 5 foolish virgins who forgot the reserve oil for their lamps. And so Section 45 explains the parable of the 10 virgins with exactly what I've been telling you the whole time. For they that are wise have received the truth, and have taken the Holy Spirit as their guide, and have not been deceived. Mormons have been deceived. They are the foolish virgins because they have not received the truth. They've received the lies. They have the Book of Mormon. They have the words of Joseph Smith. They won't read it because the church tells them to just pray and get the right feeling, and that's true. And so Mormons who leave the church get the wrong feeling and leave. And so those, verily I say unto you, they shall not be hewn down and cast into the fire. The foolish virgins are the ones who are deceived and are being led as lambs to the slaughter for the burning. And so for the 5 foolish virgins statue to be put up yesterday when the church steals money from all over the world, this has been a very, very long latter days. All the 8.5 plus K videos for the whole latter days, trying to wake Mormons up, trying to say, hey Mormons, it's coming, it's coming. And they just say, no it's not, church is true, we're Christian, Jesus is the Christ. And they did this hate comments, death threats, and denialism, and false testimonials, and just cyber terrorism, death threats. Everybody's trying to shut me up and shut me down, and here we are. Mormons can know I've been telling the truth if they just use the simple Bible pattern for testing for truth, the science of agronomy. By their fruits you shall know them. And they won't do it. And so, yeah, the shot heard round the world. Start of the revolution. Dear God. And then a once-in-a-generation storm is in the Memphis, Tennessee area. Those states in that area. Massive tornado watch, alert, warning, destruction coming, and it's probably already happened by now. So, but nobody cares to watch my channel, and YouTube Mormon employee shuts me down to keep people from finding out the truth, and so that they can be deceived and thus be burned by the they that come shall burn them. Oh, dear God. So, yeah, this was devastating. Mormons will say, church is true, and then they'll all be burned. And that's sad, because this was their plot from the beginning. In 1836, March 27th, Joseph Smith, 27th, Joseph Smith dedicated the Kirtland Temple. And Danites who did not attend, but were hanging out outside, when they came with Brigham Young to this valley, being a part of the inner circle, Brigham Young told them to write in their journals to frame and blame Joseph. That's why the women that came with Brigham wrote in their journals framing and blaming Joseph. There is no evidence for it, they made it all up, and yet you get the movement of, we have to believe women. Really? Shouldn't you check first to make sure they're telling the truth? Then you can believe them? But nonetheless, they were writing in their journals about how they remember being there that day, not in it, not attending, but on the outside, seeing it. And they said that it looked like the Spirit of God, like a fire, was literally burning the Kirtland Temple down. And they saw angels with wings flying above it. So obviously they're making stuff up, but it's now Mormon lore. It's all literal history true now. Because Mormons are foolish. They're clueless about how to identify truth and are easily deceived and conned. Every single year the FBI has to say, hey, be on the alert, Mormons. There are scams coming. And year after year, Mormons get scammed because they don't listen. Just, dear God. And so Trump pardoned a Mormon who was deceiving Mormons and stealing their money because his lawyer was Pam Bundy's brother. Oops. Oh, dear God. And so, yeah, this is just a nightmare scenario. It's headbanging, literally, to the most stubborn, rebellious, disbelieving people on the face of the earth has ever known. I mean, you hear about the house of Israel who were wicked and didn't want to obey and believe and save themselves, and they died because they didn't believe and didn't follow Moses. But, I mean, dear God, Mormons, to actually want to try to murder Moses. Death to Moses! He's a witch! Burn the witch! He's an anti-Mormon, anti-Christ, apostate, Korahor. Get him! That's how they saw Joseph Smith. That's why they turned him Christian. That's why he turned everything literal history. Is because they don't believe it. They don't believe in the Jews. Bleep the Jews who gave us the Bible. It's Christian now. Oh my hell. So yeah, just this is a momentous day that will live in infamy. This is the fall of America. Finally, after all these years doing all these videos. In 2020, I didn't find out until last year after conference about that. Everything happened from the Exodus in 2020, and I'm going, wait a minute, the Final Four hasn't happened. 2021 happened, and yet, oh my God, it stopped. What happened? Is there no Zion? What's going on? And so then, yeah, after that, Russia invades Ukraine for Ezekiel 38 chapter heading by Bruce R. McConkie, and then October 7th, attacking the Jews in Israel. As this is all part of their plot to deceive everybody that this is Jesus's work. And Trump was Jesus. He was wounded in the White House of his friends. Everything they've been telling Mormons, Trump has done. And SCOTUS destroying the Constitution under Biden. Dear God, just everything was getting set up, prepared for this moment right now. It literally was a test run in 2020 so that they knew what to do for now, and it's doing it. They gave Trump power to destroy the world economies and thus the world governments. I mean, oh dear God. And so, yeah, the axis of allies, they're ready to pounce. Once every nation falls in the coming days, yeah, they're going to begin their attacks, their wars. World wars will start, not just civil wars within each of the nations. We are looking at total cataclysmic destruction, as Albert Pike warned us. So, there you go. I warned you all these years. You didn't believe, and here it is, and you still want to deny it.